What supplements would you say are offer the most bang for the buck?
That you don't go to jail for.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Creatine jail. So creatine's great. Pre-workout, if you need that energy, works super well. Then you have multivitamin, multimineral. Not everyone needs them. Most people don't if they have a good diet, but notice I said if they have a good diet, so I take the most people right back because most people don't. So multivitamin, multimineral is kind of an insurance policy against some not getting all the vitamins and minerals you need through your whole diet. And whey protein and casein protein, kind of drink replacement shakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They just allow you to take in more protein in a more convenient time and a more convenient way. And they don't have some kind of magical benefits, but they're awesome and they work. There are a couple of other supplements that are in contention for having similar effects, but the research on them is just not so profound as to be really convincing.
Have you tracked the data on fish oil? There's an interesting line of research pointing to a body composition benefit, or I think it's primarily that, not a strength benefit for fish oil.
Yeah. Here's my experience with fish oil. I could be totally wrong, by the way. I'm probably wrong. You should have never had me on your podcast. This was a mistake. Someone's like, how was Dr. Mike? It was a huge mistake. But he did tell me that.
No, man,
I've been around a while, and so I've seen fish oil do at least one of these little tilts where there are multiple studies showing fish oil had real promise. And then a few years of many studies coming out saying like, fish oil's not doing what it's supposed to. And now you're in another one of these, like fish oil's doing some stuff again. Now, the laws of physics don't change. It's all the same stuff always. But when a supplement kind of lets you down when you were hopeful about it, and you have to look at it again and try to endorse it, your idea is, I'm not going to endorse this as much as I did last time. So I think fish oil has some very promising general health benefits, anti-inflammatory benefits, potential cognitive benefits, and some muscularity and fat loss benefits, though a very, very small scope, that's for sure, especially the latter category. They don't make a huge difference. You're not going to drop some fish oil tabs and wake up next to your wife the next day and she's like, oh my God, you're she's like, oh my God, call the authorities, you eat her. That's not going to happen. But that, especially that leanness and that muscle gain element, if I look at the totality of the evidence last I looked at it, I'm not like so convinced that if someone comes up to me at the gym or asks me on a podcast, like, hey, fish oil, I can't give like a resounding yes. One of the best places on the internet to look for evidence-based fitness recommendations that are very palatable and broken down very well is for my colleague Menno Henselmans. He's on Instagram, he's on YouTube, he's great.
Love him.
I literally love him. He's the best looking man I've ever seen. And I'm as straight as an arrow. But when Menno's around, arrow curves a lot.
Where's he based? He's in like Europe somewhere, right?
That's the best absolute way to describe it. Europe somewhere. He's actually been, I think he's in Spain now, studying for his PhD, by the way. Just for fun. And he's from the Netherlands originally. So he's got that awesome European accent, Menno's a great resource for learning about stuff. And his last sort of understanding of fish oils, as far as I could tell, was kind of like, there's some pretty good data out now that shows they do some stuff, but just don't sell your house. Because like, it could be in another few studies to be like, it's just not being replicated. So fish oil is one of these things where, especially for getting you jacked and lean, I would say there's some reason to be hopeful. And if you want to take some fish oils for the other benefits, maybe that's a really good idea. But it's just not one of these supplements that'd be like creatine. You're going to buy it at the store. You're going to take 5 grams of creatine monohydrate per day, and you're going to get results. Almost everyone gets results, some a little bit, some quite a bit. Fish oil is just not in that standard of supplements yet for that outcome. Could it be in the future with more data? Yes. Has it been in the past promising? Yes. Has it been in the more recent past not as promising? Yes. Bit of a mixed bag still.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of whey and casein protein. I take creatine every day. Magnesium. I take astaxanthin, which I love. It's a marine carotenoid. I don't know if you're familiar with astaxanthin.
I'm not that fancy. I know neither the term marine nor carotenoid.
You know carotenoids. Carotenoids are great for your
marine,
eyes,
I don't know
brain.
what that is.
It's found exclusively in marine. It's generated by algae, which is then consumed by salmon. It's the pigment that gives salmon its red color.
It's a chemical. Doesn't that mean it's bad for you?
Yes.
Will it make me glow like that weird salmon in the lab?
It's fully natty. It's natty.
It's natty. That's cool. What else are you taking?
And I do take fish oil every day, but
nice.
I don't take extremely high doses. I take about 1 to 2 grams combined of EPA and DHA daily.
So my RP colleague, Dr. Jim Case, PhD in nutrition, RD clinical nutrition, multi-time jiu-jitsu world champion, but who's counting accolades at this point, she would actually say that fish oil is not what you're looking for. Direct EPA DHA supplements what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Fish oil often has that in good amounts, not always. And sometimes, Jen would probably say many times, the fish oil you get at the store is actually rancid and there ain't nothing in there you can use anymore. So you just like go on Amazon and get a very well vetted EPA DHA combo supplement, and then you get whatever fish oil research benefits we are confident in. You're definitely getting that stuff, because if you just pick up fish oil kind of anywhere, there's a good chance you're getting really good stuff. This is a pretty decent chance you're getting like kind of bunk. So
no, I've always said that most supplements, like creatine, if you're buying creatine, just make sure, maybe, I'm sure you can speak to this more so than I can, but like look for Creapure. It's like, we know it's not made in China. And
what's wrong with China? You racist or something? Just nationalist.
I just feel like things that I ingest, I don't know. I want to, and Creapure is made here. It's micronized. It's like
communist countries have different ethical standards for what counts as like, this is really in there. If you can sell it, it's good to go. Yeah.
And look, I don't even know. I just know,
Sure.
Fruit purees out of China they've identified heavy metals and toys with lead, and things like that. I just, I'm going to play it safe, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. It was just like getting your creatine from reliable companies that weren't like started yesterday is probably also a good idea.
Yeah.
Like Optimum Nutrition's been around for a generation. They're probably not going to lie to you. It's bad business for them.
Exactly.
They haven't lied so far. So stuff like that is good for probably all supplements.
Yeah. But with fish oil, I've always said, like, it's probably worth it to spend more on a high quality fish oil and look for IFO certification.
Yes.
We work with a company called Piori, and Piori, I mean, there are a number of great fish oil brands out there, but they make like it's IFO certified, international fish oil standards.
That's awesome. Third-party certifications are a big deal.
Yeah. There was that interesting study recently which found, I don't know if they actually, stratified according to dose, but they found there was a signal of risk with regard to AFib for people who were taking high doses of, I think it was high dose fish oil or something like that. So, but I do think that there are a lot of general health benefits to taking preformed omega-3, EPA and DHA fatty acids.
The AFib stuff, I got to tell you, man, until that study gets replicated at least 2 or 3 times, I'm just not batting an eye at that.
Same.
And also a lot of the times, it's very difficult to assign causality to something like that.
Yeah.
Usually people will report. So, for example, there's an interesting illustration of this concept. It's true that more people that take in artificial sweeteners are fat than people that don't take in artificial sweeteners. Tend to be leaner than people that do. And you're like, that's it. Artificial sweeteners cause you to be fat. It's actually the other way around. Skinny people don't give a shit. They eat real sugar because they don't have a weight problem. Someone's like, do you want Diet Coke? They're like, look at their skinny fucking arms and abs. They're like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'll have regular Coke. But people who are over fat, sometimes they're trying to get their health going in the right direction. They'll start consuming artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners have been vetted in every single randomized control trial as just in every way better for you than regular sweeteners, and in all the nuance taken into account. And they're super, super safe. But just on correlations alone, you'd be like, they make people fat. They don't. So the AFib stuff, all that stuff, anytime a supplement causes really nasty effects, the causes has to be underlined and be like, do we know that it causes, like, well, it's been associated with. I actually caught ChatGPT doing that once. I was doing this is on my other channel. I have a channel where I talk about philosophy and stuff like that, and made this whole video about pornography. Like, how bad is it really? Because there's this whole side of YouTube that thinks porn is just like the worst, that it just destroys people, which for a small segment of society is true, but for most people it's just not. And I remember getting some insight from ChatGPT about porn stuff, and it actually used the term causes. And I followed up because you can re-ask it questions. And I'm like, do you mean causes or do you mean correlates with? And he goes, my apologies, I meant correlates with. And I was like, that's a big deal. And it's like, yep, you're right. It's not the same thing. So like, do we know that porn causes this? It's like, you're right. We don't know that. I was like, ta-da. So a lot of times when you have associations, you got to step back and, okay, is fish oil really going to kill me at high doses? Maybe, but we need way better studies with way more replicability, multiple studies from different labs to be like, okay, this is definitely the thing that's happening. Also, there's a curiosity about that, what mechanism that would even be when mechanistically you're like, I can't figure out a single fucking, because if you think about this, people that take high dose fish oil, yeah, they get a lot of stuff, but some people eat so much fish, like in Japan, for example, coastal communities, That's 10 times the amount of fish oil that they actually eat from their fish than you would from any capsule. 20 capsules a day, you wouldn't get to that level. They're not dying of shit. So what the hell happened there? One of those.
Well, the interesting thing, I think you're completely right, but law of averages, you would assume that most people who are taking fish oil supplements in the United States are probably taking pretty low quality fish oil supplements. They're not vetting.
Low doses.
Yeah, oxidized. We know that omega-3 fatty acids are more prone to oxidation than omega-6 fats even. But yeah, it's totally a correlational study.
Yeah.
Correlation
there might be something to it, 100%. Just need a few more studies to replicate it.
Yeah. Dope. Well, Dr. Mike, this was so fun. We got to have you back for round 2.
I had a great time. I
feel like we just scratched the surface. We didn't even talk about nutrition.
That's a whole other thing. It's funny is when I get on people's podcasts, we'll spend like an hour and a half on one nuanced topic, and they're like, God damn it, I had 10 things to ask you. And I'm like, I can shut up anytime and just give you 2-word answers.
Dude, well, we gotta put round 2 in the books for sure. Great. This was super fun. One last question for you before I get to that. Where can people... Hey, if you like that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.